To have a successful business, the typical recipe is to have an amazing product, a killer sales team, a great back-end operation, and fantastic marketing. But what if you only have one of those things? Are you still able to succeed? Today we're covering a story you may have never thought about. It's a familiar hot sauce with a rooster on the label and a green cap on top. A product that's been sitting in your pantry or refrigerator for possibly years now. As you can already tell from the title, today we're covering Sriracha.
I really like Sriracha.
This delicious sauce started from humble beginnings, has never had a single ad or sales team, and still manages to generate millions of dollars every year. How is this even possible? Let's find out. In 1949, in southeast Thailand's little seaside hamlet of Sriracha is where everything began. A home chef named Thanam Chakapak created a sauce known as Sriracha Panich. Originally made for just friends and family, everyone who tried this vivid, pungent chili sauce with their dishes became addicted to it. She was persuaded to bottle and sell it by her peers, and she thought it may be worth a try. It wasn't quite the spicy sauce we all adore today, but it inspired someone who would then go on to create that sauce. That man is David Tran. After serving in the Vietnam War in 1975, David began making chili sauces. As a lover of spicy food, he began making these sauces for his own personal use. The years after the war, life had become increasingly challenging under the communist regime. So he and his family fled Vietnam and headed to America, landing first in Boston in 1979. There, he found the red jalapeno chili pepper was the perfect pepper to make his sauce with. He heard these were grown in California, so he decided to make his way all the way across America and down to Los Angeles. David couldn't find a job and had virtually nothing, except for the knowledge of making his delicious hot sauces. He started making his sauce in buckets by hand and packaged them in recycled baby food bottles, which he then sold to Chinese markets and restaurants out of the back of his blue Chevy van. In Chinatown in Los Angeles, David started selling without any funding for advertisement or sales personnel. You just heard about it through word of mouth. He then subsequently spread his business into other locations with substantial Asian populations like San Diego and San Francisco. He formed his business in February of 1980 and gave it the name Huy Fong Foods in honor of the boat that carried him to the country. He also put his zodiac sign on the bottles, being born the year of the rooster. People were constantly providing unsolicited advice while he operated his business. A previous client advised him to adjust the sauce since it was too spicy. He declined. He started getting proposals to sell the business or accept a private equity investment as the sauce gained popularity. He has declined every one of them. The sauce has always been catered to his taste first and business second. As his success grew, he kept upgrading his manufacturing to meet the demand. In 1980, starting in a 5,000 square foot facility around Chinatown, Los Angeles, Huy Fong moved to a former pharmaceutical plant in Rosemead, California that was 68,000 square feet after 7 years. Finally, in 2010, Huy Fong established its headquarters in a 650,000 square foot building in Irwindale, California. Several hot chili sauces and pastes were produced over the years, including pepper satay, sambal bajak, sambal olek, chili garlic sauce, and sriracha. The first two are discontinued, but the remaining three are sold to this day. The product that launched Tran's astronomically prosperous hot sauce empire was Sriracha hot sauce, which, according to Executive Operations Officer Donna Lam at Huy Fong, wasn't officially introduced until 1983. It was called Sriracha, reminiscent of the coastal Thai town well known for its red chili sauce Sriracha Panich, made from Thanam Chakapak mentioned earlier. In 2012, Huy Fong Foods generated $60 million in revenue from its chili products at a growing rate of 20% year after year, again with no marketing or sales teams, and has grown to now as high as $150 million a year. Although David won't reveal the wholesale price of his bottles, a 28-ounce bottle of Sriracha typically costs around $3.50. My American dream was never to become a billionaire, Tran said. We started this because we like fresh, spicy chili sauce. To this day, the sauce continues to have a cult-like following around the world. But, at one point, some of the local residents begged to differ. Controversy number 1, the odor problem. Since the Sriracha factory processes millions of chilies every year, one may wonder, where is all the smell going? Huy Fong Foods makes roughly 20 million bottles of sauce annually, normally employing about 60 employees. During the chili season, when up to 40 truckloads of fresh peppers arrive each day from Ventura County, the 650,000 square foot facility employs around 200 people full-time. As part of a 24-hour process, the chilies are crushed the same day. The aroma of red jalapenos, which is so lovely when bottled, supposedly permeates the town while the plant is grinding chilies in the fall. The chili-infused air, according to the locals, induces coughing fits, burns their eyes and nostrils, and pushes them to seek shelter inside. In October of 2013, reacting to the concerns from locals about overpowering chili fragrance, the city of Irwindale sued Huy Fong Foods, requesting they cease operations that could cause noxious odors and to make the necessary changes to mitigate them. Officials from Irwindale met with Huifeng executives on many occasions to explore how to lessen the stench, according to the lawsuit. Representatives of Huifeng offered their cooperation, claiming their staff worked in safe and healthy environments without complaining. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed after many visits to the factory with no evidence of any detectable odor. Another spicy controversy came from where they got their actual peppers. Since the beginning, David has always used fresh red jalapeno peppers to create his sauce. In California, there were lots of green jalapenos, but they weren't the correct hue for sriracha. According to Sarah Lohman in the book 8 Flavors: The Untold Story of American Cuisine, jalapenos naturally ripen to a vivid red color. And the only reason they're not more popular is that it's less expensive to harvest the peppers earlier when they're still green. After starting off by purchasing the red excess from jalapeno growers, Tran ultimately partnered with Underwood Ranches to solely grow ripe red jalapenos in a profitable and mutually beneficial arrangement. Since the 1980s, Underwood Ranches has been their main supplier of peppers. For over 30 years, they had a harmonious relationship. But in 2016, something changed. Claiming they overpaid them by $1.46 million, Huifeng ended up suing Underwood Ranches. Huifeng had expressly agreed to purchase the 2017 harvest, persuading Underwood to lease more land and told Underwood it would continue to purchase all of the peppers produced. In accordance with the court documents, the two businesses had an arrangement that was partly oral, partly written, and partly established by the parties' practice. According to which Underwood would project the year's production cost, Huifeng would pay in installments, and they would settle any discrepancies at the end of the year. While this was happening, Huifeng was allegedly establishing a new entity to produce peppers called Chilico, and even tried to sway Underwood's COO to switch to Chilico. A jury could reasonably conclude that Huifeng had no intention of keeping those promises of purchasing the 2017 harvest, based on evidence that it had planned to cut ties to Underwood before it did so. Huifeng sued for not paying back the overpayment and $7 million in wanting their equipment back. Underwood then countersued for $20 million for breach of contract and claiming because of the loss of business. The jury unanimously voted in Underwood's favor on claims of breach of contract and fraud, and awarded $13.3 million in compensatory damages and $10 million in punitive damages. However, the jury did decide that Huifeng's claim of overpayment was valid, so $1.46 million was deducted from the damages. Huifeng appears to have discontinued utilizing Underwood peppers in its sauces as a result of the legal battles between the two companies. Underwood says Huifeng accounted for over 75% of their income, and they had to fire 44 employees as a result of these lawsuits. Overall, it is surprising that Sriracha doesn't invest any money in its marketing. It's been decades since the globally recognized Asian chili sauce first appeared. Tran didn't feel the need to register his brand as a trademark at the time, since he didn't realize how popular Sriracha would become. Now that several new rivals and food vendors are selling Sriracha flavored goods everywhere, Tran must be cursing himself for missing out on tens of millions of dollars in licensing income, isn't he? Not exactly. For Tran's company, which doesn't even have a marketing budget, the unrestricted usage of the phrase Sriracha is basically free advertising. Although other brands may use its name, Sriracha is known for its distinctive rooster emblem and a green hat. Whatever Tran is doing appears to be successful. Huifeng Foods generates more than $100 million in a typical year. Why should Tran have any regrets? That's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.